In just 6 months, I made more money on Poshmark than I did in my first 6 years of selling. What changed? Once I started using the right strategies, I started making sales almost every day. Hi, my name is Grace and welcome to Gracefully Smart, where we work together to figure out how to live in a better, smarter way. Now, a quick disclaimer. I am not a professional reseller. I only sell my old clothes as a way to declutter and make extra money. From 2018 to 2024, I sold 92 items and made around $1,180. But in the first 6 months of 2025, I've already sold 111 items and made $1,192.46, more than I did in 6 years combined. This year alone, I averaged around 24 sales and $260.20 per month. So how did I go from making a few sales per month to nearly one sale per day? The answer is in these following steps. The first thing you want to do is to collect inventory and take pictures in bulk. Collecting inventory and taking pictures is the first place where a lot of people start to lose interest in Poshmark. Hosting and managing your listing/offers is convenient because you can do it directly from your phone, and packaging and shipping is motivating because you've already made the sale. But for taking pictures, it's hard to stay motivated if 1, you need to physically search for the items and set up your backdrop, and 2, don't know if your items are going to sell. So here's my suggestion. Do a one-time huge closet clean out and collect as much inventory as possible. Ask friends and family for clothes that they don't want. The key here is to find as many sellable pieces as possible, because the more listings you have, the higher chance you have of making a sale. Then take as many pictures as you can in one session, whenever you have 30 minutes to a few hours to spare in a day. After you take your pictures, save them in an album on your phone to post later. If you already have a collection of photos to pull from, then it helps you stay consistent because you don't have to remake your setup each time you want to post. For me, I find this much more manageable than having to rummage through my closet and set up my backdrop for pictures every few days. So now that you have done the hard part, you're ready to start posting. But don't rush to upload everything at once. This brings us to our next tip, which is to list every day. Listing every day tells the Poshmark algorithm that you're an active seller and consistently attracts new potential buyers to your closet. Make sure to spread out your posts so you can post at least 1 to 2 items every day. Once you list an item, delete it from your Poshmark album to help stay organized. I can confidently say this is the main thing that I changed that dramatically increased my sales in 2025. You may be asking, what if I don't have enough inventory to keep up with posting every day? That's why our first step was to declutter as much as possible. If you collect a lot of inventory up front, then it should take you at least a couple of weeks to a few months to list everything at a rate of 1 to 2 items per day. Now, it's okay to skip a day or two or post every other day if that works better for you, but the key here really is to post new items consistently. Once you start running out of items to post, it's likely that enough time has passed for you to do a new closet declutter. Then you can repeat step 1 and do the process over again. If not, don't worry. You can also keep your closet active by relisting old items. When your listings become stale and haven't sold in over 60 days, don't be afraid to relist them and get some new eyes on them. If you run out of inventory to post, relisted items count as new items, so you can switch to relisting 1 to 2 items per day to stay active. This will bring your listings back to the top of the search page when buyers sort by just in. This is also the default sort option when buyers browse by a brand's new listings from the feed page. And don't worry about losing a lot of likes on a popular listing. If likers haven't bought the item within a few weeks, especially after sending multiple offers to likers, then they probably aren't interested anymore and won't buy your item no matter what. It's much more valuable to relist your item and attract a potential buyer who is interested in it today. There have actually been several times where I've relisted an item with over 10 likes and it sold within a few days of relisting. But one thing to note is that Poshmark did recently announce that they will be cracking down on people who relist their items within 60 days. Now, this new rule is more for people who use bots to relist their items again and again within a few days, but still avoid overusing this tip. Some people have reported inconsistencies in how this rule is being enforced, but as long as you wait past the 60-day limit, you should be fine. So relisting helps bring attention back to older items, but to keep your closet performing well, especially with newer listings, you need to consistently share to followers. Sharing is the most important action you can do to increase visibility on your closet. Let me save you some effort. Don't spend time sharing to parties or other people's listings. And I'll tell you why. These actions don't matter because most buyers search what they're looking for directly in the search bar, not the followers feed and not parties. Focus on sharing to followers, but not because your followers are the ones buying your item. Sharing to followers allows your listings to show up higher in the search page when buyers sort by just shared, which is the default option. The more you share, the higher up you are on the search page, the more visibility you have, and the higher chance you have of making a sale. Now, it's still possible that sharing to parties and sharing other people's listings listings can help, but in my experience, the impact is minimal compared to sharing to followers. So we've established the importance of sharing, but manually sharing your listings is unsustainable in the long run, especially if you have a lot of listings. You'll quickly lose interest in maintaining your closet. That's why I suggest using a ShareBot. A ShareBot is a software that automatically shares your listings for you. For me, I use an app called ClosetMate, and I pay $10.99 per month to unlock all its features. You can adjust the rate at which it shares your items, but do know that Poshmark technically does not allow ShareBots, so generally it's better to pick a slower rate to avoid getting thrown in share jail, which is essentially when Poshmark blocks you from sharing after you've shared too much too fast. When I use the app, I usually select continue until stop and share in background, so the app is always sharing my listings and it automatically adjusts itself to avoid share jail. You can also automate relisting, offer to likers, and price drops. You can start out with the free version to see if you like it, but it does limit how many times you can share per month, and you don't have access to offline sharing. So you have to keep your phone screen on each time you want to run it. I decided to pay for it because the time it saves me and the sales it produces more than offsets the cost. Like I mentioned before, I make on average around $260 per month, which more than covers the $10.99 fee. To be more specific, since I make around 24 sales per month, the cost of the bot breaks down to just 46 cents per sale. At that rate, it's definitely worth it, especially if the alternative is not making those sales at all. Other popular options include Posher VA, Flip, and Prime Lister. And some of these share bots even allow you to cross-list your Poshmark items to other platforms such as eBay. After using a share bot, you'll immediately notice a difference in likes, comments, offers, and sales as soon as within a day. Now that your listings are getting consistent exposure, the next step is knowing what to do when buyers show interest. That's why you'll need to master offers and counteroffers. Understanding how to handle an offer can make the difference between making a sale or losing out entirely. My recommendation is to accept most offers unless they are unreasonably low. In other words, avoid counter-offering just to test the waters. This is because you risk the buyer ghosting your counter-offer and losing the sale. For example, if I list a sweater at $20 and someone offers $12, I may be tempted to counter-offer $16 to meet in the middle, but it may be better to just accept the $12 to mitigate the risk, because I'd rather guarantee the sale rather than counter-offer, get ghosted, and have the item sit in my inventory for another few months. Counter-offer only if you are confident that someone else will offer higher, or if you are okay with the risk of losing the sale. Another thing to know is that sales lead to more sales. I've noticed that after every time I make a sale, a couple of more sales follow directly after in the days following. But the opposite is also true. If I haven't made a sale recently, then I can go the next few days without making a sale, whereas normally I make a sale every day. If you haven't made a sale in a while, you may want to accept the next offer that comes, even if it is a little lower, because it may trigger more sales afterwards. You'll also want to know how to deal with lowball offers. Sometimes you'll get offers that are way below your listing price. Some sellers get mad at lowballs because they find it disrespectful and decline right away. And feel free to do so if you want, but my advice is to wait as long as possible before responding to the offer. When someone makes an offer on an item, all other likers are notified that there is an active offer, creating a sense of urgency. While you're waiting to respond to the lowballer, another liker may swoop in and buy the item or offer higher. Now, this is not a guarantee, but at least you'll have a chance of getting some value out of that lowball offer. After all, if the 24 hours is almost up and no one has sent in a better offer, you can decline or counter offer with a reasonable price and see how they respond. If they counter again with another lowball, then you can decline, but if they counter with an offer that's more reasonable, then you can continue to negotiate. While knowing how to handle offers is key, Poshmark also gives you built-in tools to help you make sales. Let's talk about how to use Poshmark selling tools to your advantage. The first tool you have is offer to likers. At least 70 to 80% of my sales come from offer to likers. From testing out different discount amounts, I've realized that no one really accepts these offers unless they're at least 20% off. I usually send offers of 20% off with $5.95 shipping after every time someone likes my item. Now, the $5.95 shipping is optional, and the discount is deducted from your earnings as the seller, but I like to do it because the discounted shipping can be the final push to make a buyer purchase your item. I also like doing it because it encourages the buyer to accept the offer directly rather than counter offer even lower. This is because if they do counter offer, they will no longer have the shipping discount. I've also noticed when I send offers to likers without a shipping discount, buyers tend to counter offer with an even lower amount, and my earnings end up being the same as if I had just sent the shipping discount in the first place. For the end of the week, around Thursday to Sunday, which is typically when people get paid and have more time to scroll on Poshmark, I like to send a 30% discount with $5.95 shipping, and I usually get some sales that way. I try not to send more than 2 offers to each liker because chances chances are if they haven't accepted the first two, then they probably aren't interested anymore. You can also automate offer to likers through most share bots, but I like to do it manually to keep track of which items are getting interest. Some sellers also like to automate offers to likers so that they send immediately after someone likes an item. This method tries to catch the buyer while they are still on the app and encourages them to make an impulse buy. Now, I've experimented with this and tried sending out offers as soon as someone likes my item, but I haven't seen a significant difference in sales between when I send them out immediately versus waiting a little bit. If anything, I've noticed some people unlike the item as soon as they receive the offer because they were unsure to begin with and felt pressured to make a decision. For me, I like to wait at least 10 minutes before sending an offer to likers. This gives the buyer time to either send an offer first or go through my closet and like other listings. And personally, when I'm scrolling on Poshmark myself, I don't like being bombarded with offers immediately, but ultimately it is up to your own personal preference when you want to send your offers to likers. Most likers will not respond to your offers, but if you do send out 20 to 30 offers, it is likely that at least one person will accept. The next thing I want to talk about is bundles. I encourage buyers to bundle as much as possible because it's more convenient for me to ship multiple items at the same time, and it also helps me get rid of inventory faster. I offer a 20% discount on bundles of 2 or more. This allows buyers to make a bundle and purchase it directly at a discount rather than sending in an offer. In my experience, most of the time people will make bundles, see the discount, and then offer even lower. But I'm okay with that because the discount encourages people to make the bundle in the first place. When someone makes a bundle but doesn't immediately purchase it, I like to send an offer that's at least another 10% off my 20% bundle discount. For example, when someone bundles 2 items for $50 and does not purchase at $40, I will offer $35 for a total discount of 30%. And I will also add $5.95 shipping on top of that. Also, when someone likes multiple items, I will make a bundle for them myself. To do this, all you need to do is go to the buyer's account, click the shopping bag icon, switch to sell view, scroll down to see the buyer's likes from my closet, and then add to bundle. Then I'll just send the same bundle discounts as I mentioned before. By taking advantage of Poshmark's built-in tools, you set yourself up for steady, repeatable success. By following these tips, you'll be seeing sales in no time. And that's how I make daily sales on Poshmark. The key really is consistency and patience. But with the right strategies, it doesn't have to take hours a day. To sign up for Poshmark, you can use my referral link in the description for $10 off your first purchase. I will also be linking my closet in the description below if you want to check it out. Click here if you want a full beginner's guide on how to start selling on Poshmark, and drop a comment below if you have any questions or content that you want to see next. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more smart tips like this.